My name is Jouana Samia. I'm Berlin-based, originally from Lebanon. I'm a choreographer, director and performing artist, and I'm the founder of the company Berlin.
Welcome to Studio Sessions, a video series for creative performers.
Each week we go behind the scenes on the shoots
And sit down with guests to discuss their careers, the creative industry, and share the lessons they've learned along the way.
Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How's your day been today?
Honestly, super amazing. We just started the day with a photo shoot, quite spontaneously, but
Yeah, it was, yeah.
turned out to be a very chilled one with a very chilled but efficient one.
Love that. Talking about being the founder of the company Berlin, what was that and kind of how did you get started with that?
Well, honestly, I started dancing quite late, by the age of 16, 17. I started with hip-hop freestyle, so I actually come from the battle scene.
Yeah.
But I don't know, at some point I felt so connected to choreography, so I started to take dance classes, and I felt that there's no proper exchange between, let's say, the professionally trained modern ballet classic dancers and the more street culture connected dances. So I felt the need to create a space where, first of all, young girls come together to exchange. This is how the journey of the company actually started. And then we felt the need to receive or to experience more training from abroad. So I started to organize workshops with different kind of choreographers from all around the globe. So I brought them to Berlin. We got quite quick a lot of beautiful recognition. This is how amazing dancers crossed my path. This is why I decided to also get boys into the closed group, which is the closed company I'm training with. And this is how this stone started to roll. From there, we not only started to host international workshops during the whole year, but we also have kind of an agency where we represent our dancers for any kind of booking I get as a choreographer.
Love that. So kind of going back to kind of you starting at like 16, how did it kind of feel going into a space where maybe there was other people who'd been training for years and then you're kind of coming into that fresh?
In the beginning, it was quite difficult because I come from a background with a non-wealthy family, and my family didn't have the money to invest into my dance career. So I had to bring out newspapers to earn some money to pay for my dance classes. So I had to be very selective with which classes I take, because I wasn't able to go there 5, 6, 7 times a week. So you start kind of comparing yourself the whole time, especially because you have started late and then you don't have the access to proper training whenever you want. But I don't know, somehow I kept going. I just kept going. I think that's the only answer to it.
Yeah.
Just to keep going and do what your love or your heart is asking you for. And at some point there's going to be this turning point where you know that you are meant to be in this space.
Yeah. And what would your advice be to someone who maybe didn't kind of go the traditional kind of educational route and want to get into it a bit later? What would your advice be to someone kind of starting maybe a bit later?
Definitely to not compare yourself, because again, like the beginning situation of every individual dancer is so different. So this is why we cannot compare ourselves to any other one. Like someone has started by the age of 3, the other one by the age of 17.
Yeah.
Someone comes from a family that is totally into performing arts or arts in general and understands that. Someone is coming from a family that is maybe against it. So there's no starting point of comparing. So my advice would be to just listen to yourself. Also, sometimes withdraw yourself from distraction and keep going keep showing up, keep training until the moment comes where you know, that's my place. This is where I belong to.
Yeah, love that. And in terms of like your choreography as well, how did you kind of start to develop like your own style and kind of bring your own self into things?
Honestly, it's been a tough journey because choreographers get so influenced by the training they take themselves.
100%.
And I've been training so many different styles, so it was so difficult for me to find my own style. But I think during the past 2 years, I've been reconnecting to my roots so much, which is the Middle East, Lebanon. And this is what feels so true and correct for me. And ever since then, I'm kind of using that culture to influence my style. And I feel now, step by step, I'm kind of finding it.
Yeah.
But I also truly believe that it's an ongoing journey.
100%. I think that's the thing about being a creative. There's no end. Like
Correct.
it's always an evolving thing. And I think that's what makes it so fun and enriching and like gives you the kind of drive to keep going constantly, because there's always new things to find, new ways to kind of push yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It would be boring if not, actually.
Exactly. Yeah. So moving on to today, what was the first look we did and what made you bring that?
We did something in a denim pants with a cute little white corset underwear situation. I felt something connected to the streets, but make it hot.
Yeah.
So this is how the first look made me feel, and I really, really enjoyed it. Also, I don't know, like it's very new for me to wear white, because I was rarely wearing white in the past. But I kind of feel connected to the clarity of it now. So here we go. This is why we shot
I feel like you've got such a nice skin tone as well, and I think white really brings that out. It's kind of quite a nice way to kind of exaggerate that in a way. And what would your advice be to someone kind of looking to build a portfolio or start a portfolio?
Profile within pictures, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what I realized within my journey as a professional dancer before becoming a choreographer, I was trying so hard to look the same way as anyone else. Like you see these amazing pictures, everyone has these pretty shots, and we tend to think that we have to look the exact same. But the moment I started to just do me and do things that I feel comfortable in, that represent me, I can so see it also by my looks in the camera, like my eyes, my gains, how I communicate with the camera. As soon as I feel comfortable in what I am wearing, the results are most likely the best. Then you create a unique selling point, which is maybe a little bit different than, because everyone has its own unique selling point, and I would suggest to anyone who is trying to, or anyone who's going to do new pictures, to ask yourself, look at yourself, what is your unique selling point, and highlight that.
You kind of mentioned before, like before you started doing choreography, you had a career as a dancer. What did that look like, and what's the scene like for work in Germany?
Well, I would say compared to London or the UK in general, the scene in Germany is definitely different. We have not that much of a, let's say, cool music industry. We have German hip hop and we have German, the genre is called Schlager, which is German music. I would not say folk music, but it goes very much into the direction, because the audience that goes to these kind of shows, concerts, events are definitely people who maybe come more from the villages of Germany and love to celebrate that because they understand the language and they like to sing with the songs, right? So this is a huge market for sure. in Germany where I definitely do not see myself. And in the beginning of my career, I was also like, questioning if there is a place for me, because I knew that I don't belong there, and also knew that no one wants to put me on this stage. So I tried to find my own bubble, which is definitely more fashion related.
Yeah.
And luckily in Berlin, we have a huge production scene when it comes to visuals, campaigns, shows, and fashion contexts or events in general.
Yeah.
And this is where I dived in and found my place, which I really enjoyed. But compared to London, we don't have these kind of like big artists acts that have like some spontaneous shows. You have these awards here happening all over the year. We do not have that. I'm sorry.
Well, you're always welcome here whenever you want to kind of come forward.
Thank you.
So moving on from the second look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
Second look, I don't know. I felt the need to do something more calm and elegant. So this is why we went for tights and just a basic black bra. I wanted to have something that shows the length of my body and also maybe embodies the lines a little bit more. Definitely a no-brainer that always works. So if you have to go to a shoot and have 4 looks and you have tights at home, this is already one look you can definitely go for.
And I feel like as well, like for a portfolio, it's super important to have just something that shows your shape.
Correct.
And it's like, and you don't have to be kind of naked effectively. Like they're a really nice way to show like lines in like a way that can also kind of complement towards kind of maybe more heelsy, jazzy kind of like feels as well. So moving on to like your choreography as well, how did you, like when you first started that, how did you kind of first start to build kind of like a name for yourself for doing different choreography?
I think my biggest skill is definitely my eye. Like I think I have a good taste and good sense for aesthetics. So this is how I started creating. Like I love lines, I love shapes, I love stuff that creates an aesthetic picture. So from just being a creative person who always sees pictures and being in touch with movement, this is how this choreography kind of work started to evaluate. And also, as a choreographer, I think it's an ongoing journey where you also compare yourself so much because you see so many choreographers out there, especially in the commercial industry, that do definitely amazing stuff, and you can also get very much distracted by seeing work of others. So what I started to do is to mute other profiles, even though they inspire me, just to not be influenced too much and to really step away somehow from the consumption of social media and visuals and just listen to the song I want to create to, potentially have a mood board if I want to shoot a visual or whatever, or if it's a request, I have all the infos I need and I just go for it. And I think sometimes it's also important to just go for it and not overthink every single step we do.
100%.
Because this is what is happening nowadays, especially with social media.
Yeah, I feel like the muting thing, I think is super important. I do it all the time where like people are like, oh, what photographers do you like and stuff. I was like, I don't really follow any photographers because if you do, you can't help but be influenced. And I feel like it's nicer because most people approach creativity with, let's go on the internet, let's look at everyone who's doing it, who's doing well, let's just copy that.
Exactly.
And then you end up with a huge pool of people just replicating the person who's doing well.
Exactly, yeah.
But then the person who's next to pop off won't be the person following, it'll be someone doing something different. And I feel like sometimes taking a step back from what is currently the trend is a really good way to help you direct your own trend and to create something new?
Yeah, there's an amazing book. It is called Steal Like an Artist.
Love that book.
You know that book?
Yeah.
Well, by this being said...
Austin Kleon. Yeah.
Right? By this being said, it's there's nothing new on this planet. I think it's just... And also, it's impossible not to be inspired or influenced by whatever you see. But it's so nice because you as a photographer, I'm pretty sure it applies also to you. You don't get inspired only by photography. So that's the same for me. I do not get inspired only by dance or performing arts. For me, there's so much more. There's fashion, there's music, there's culture, there's photography, there's paintings. So I try to get something from everything and put it together to make it my own language. So guys, Steal Like an Artist, amazing book, helped me so often whenever I lost track to get back on track. And he also has a second one, which is called Keep Going.
Which I think is another
related
really
to my
important
first sentences.
Yeah.
Keep Going, also a very nice one.
And how do you keep going when times are tough and there maybe isn't as much work as you want there to be and things might not be going as well as you see other people doing?
Honestly, that's a tough question. Still figuring out. Sometimes it works better, sometimes it doesn't. But I try to surround myself with the right people in these kind of times. And it's also totally fine to have a phase where you're not productive. I think this is also kind of a false image that we have, that we always have to put out work. And I'm a huge Rick Rubin fan. He has also an amazing book. It is called The Creative Act.
Yeah, I love that book. He's amazing.
So amazing. So amazing. So also big inspiration for me. And he also says how can you expect from yourself that you're bringing a masterpiece every week? It's impossible. What are we doing with the work or with the art that we are putting out? It's we are trying, best case, to process something and to say something, and we don't have to tell a story or material to tell a story every single week or 2 weeks or even month if it's a big chunk of piece.
I think that's the thing that I think, because we can open our phones and we just see everyone's best piece.
Yeah.
Then it's something like all I'm seeing is best pieces. I need to then consistently do things that are 100% of myself, 100% of myself. But then if you try to do that, like I'm sure everyone has, you can only go so long before you're just like, I don't have the energy to put in this much to get to that level consistently again and again and again.
Yeah.
But I think it's fine to step back and kind of be building other things that are smaller, just like that are bettering you, like training, like kind of little things that kind of are making you stronger, and then work towards maybe one big piece a month, or having a realistic goal.
I agree. And also the question is, what are we creating for?
Yeah.
That's the most important question. If it's a job, of course you go for it, right? Because it's a request and you have your skill set in your pocket and you just throw your skill set out and it works always, right? But when it is something that, again, you want to say something with, take your time. And no one is going to do this to you the whole day and saying, hey, can you put your work out now? It's your decision when you're ready. And when you're ready, you will put it out. And also, the question of what's the story, we don't have to make people understand what our story is. If they see another story in our piece, you did a great job.
100%. It's just making people think. They can create their own story. And I think that sometimes some of the best work comes from people adding their own interpretation onto something. Yeah. So moving on to the third look from today, what was that and what made you bring that?
The third look was a full-on grey suit-ish inspired look with a cute vest on top. which was a little bit loose, but still a little bit sexy, because we had like the top open. And I decided to wear this one again, to have something, let's say, clean, elegant, with a soft mask energy, which I'm a huge fan of, to mix feminine and mask energies, because you can also show so well on how you as a character can dive into these different, or embody these different kind of energies. And your suggestion was to like show my belly a little bit more, which was so nice. I really enjoyed that shoot.
Yeah, I think it took it from being a kind of corporate suit kind of vibe into kind of like adding a bit of your personality into it. And I think that's always like nice to do, is like take something that might be a bit more classic, but then add your own personality, bring that out through it as well.
Right.
How important is kind of education to you outside of the dance world in terms of business and growth?
I think it's super important to step out of the bubble once in a while.
Yeah.
And to like push the reset button for a second and to cleanse the mind. Because I feel us as dancers, performing artists, we feel the need to be everywhere at the same time, to take every class, to just, and I get that, because we need to be seen to get the booking and, but it can get so frustrating. Because also we start at some point to take it personal, and also to question our skills, our abilities as dancers when we do not make the cut. So what helped me in any kind of situation that was like that was to disconnect and to do something non-dance related. But still beneficial for dance, if it makes sense. So I enjoyed reading these kind of books. I love spending time with artists that are not dancers, because they give me a different perspective.
Yeah,
100%. And then I recharge and I go back. And every time I did that, I have to say my dance got better. Like, we think that we have to be there and train and break our bodies. And I get it again, like consistency is key for sure. But also breaks are so important. And this is what I would like to share with any upcoming dancer or someone who wants to pursue a career as a professional dancer. Don't be too harsh on yourself. And whenever you feel overwhelmed, overloaded, not able to digest the impressions that you're collecting, step away from it. Even if it's just a week. A week can change so much, and you will come back with a calm mind and fall in love again with dance.
Yeah.
Because I started to lose my passion for it, because we allow the industry
to take over,
it away from us. And it's our responsibility to protect this wonderful craft, passion, artistry we have. As soon we give it away, then we are not allowed to wonder that it hurts.
100%. So you mentioned consistency there, and I think like me and Sienna were talking about this the other day, where I think we have this idea of, we hear the word consistency and we're like, okay, every day for the next 90 days, we give ourselves like a challenge that kind of seems like hard, but we see other people maybe doing it. We don't realize that maybe they have a team behind them or something to help. But I think we were discussing, and like, it's better to think of consistency over a much larger time scale. So instead of thinking of like, I'm going to do 30 pieces or 30 posts in the next 30 days, of thinking, well, over the next 5 years, I'm just going to show up consistently and always be there in people's minds. And I think that's a better way to be consistent than kind of overwhelming yourself with having to do lots of things on a really short time scale. So I think the people you remember are the ones who've been doing this over a really long time, and the people who like didn't give up along the way.
Yeah, I agree. I would say definitely the long-term perspective for me. Again, for everyone it's different, but for me, definitely the long-term perspective. Again, related to social media, we see people, no matter if dances or musicians or whatever, like popping out overnight on social media, having an incredible reach, and you like watch them and think, wow, they made it, and then they maybe keep that hype for a year or two, and then there's this, unfortunately, this little fall where they lose their motivation and they have a lack of inspiration at the same time because they've been out there too much.
Yeah.
Again, no protection. And I've been recently working with two amazing Palestinian artists, and one of them, she is from occupied Palestine, and she just took her time, and she's incredible. And I can tell you that, like, seeing her as this incredible artist with this incredible voice and this incredible vision, just taking it step by step, easy, because she also believes that like the bigger picture is the long-term run, was so inspiring. And it also calmed me down. Like, I was like, chill, Jouana, like, who am I running for?
100%.
I'm not a runner, I'm a dancer.
So moving on to the fourth look from today, what was that? What made you bring that?
Well, the fourth look actually was a little bit influenced by Adam seeing my stuff, and he liked stuff that I usually wear outside of shoots, which is definitely these cute little pants combined with a jersey and a blouse. And this was a little bit more edgy, I would say. Definitely back to mask / extroverted energy. And we decided to make my hair wet, so this is why my hair is still not dry.
It's not the beautiful shape it normally is.
My puffy hair is not puffying at the moment. But I enjoyed this look so much. It was the perfect ending. I felt so comfortable in it, and but also like thank you for making me feel so comfortable. You like brought it out. I'm so excited for.
I think that's the nice part about like meeting someone and shooting, and you kind of start to learn people's vibe and personality and kind of like who they are. And I think when it came to that final look, we had a different one planned. There's a different one on the hanger, and then like I was just like. Because you had your suitcase just like on the side, and I was just like, can you get those out, please? And I was like, oh, them with this could go really nicely. And I feel like then we just, it was then suddenly you. Like it was something that there's no overthinking there. It's just kind of like, cool, mash it together. Let's kind of bring out your personality. And I think as soon as you had that on as well, you just transformed like on the kind of like photo side of it too. And the kind of different shapes came out, and you just saw that kind of confidence in your eyes kind of like come through. And I feel like those were probably my favorite photos of the thing.
Same.
It just like works so well. We really did that. And it's cool because people watching this now will see it flash up in the screen. So it's cool.
Cool.
So going on to kind of like the future now, what's kind of like your future plans for like your company, and kind of how do you see your future going?
Good question again, because this is what I was asking myself the past month, honestly. I had the privilege that I was booked and blessed as a professional dancer, so I worked as a dancer. Then I had the privilege that I was also seen and booked as a choreographer for lots of commercial projects. And the amazing thing is that I got the chance to work with the dancers that are training with us in the company. And I really asked myself, like, what's next? What's my next step? And honestly, I want to create my own shows. So this is what I'm going to do in 2025, because I was recently directing a show in a huge theater in Germany, which had the premiere last week, and it's already completely sold out.
Love. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I enjoyed this process so much, and I decided to do it because I really want to dive into directing dance shows. And I think there's a lack of like great dance shows that are not only on the contemporary side, but also not only on the commercial side, where you really take a risk and do not go for, okay, I want to do something commercial, or no, I have to do something contemporary. Just let go of the boxes and go for it. And I really feel the need to, first of all, create something with more depth. There's a huge urge for it. Secondly, there are so many dancers that are not getting hired but are so incredible, and I would like to give them the chance to be part of something like that, a performance of 2 weeks in a theater, for example. So by this being said, 25 is going to be the year for this. I'm going to focusing on that. So maybe by the end of next year, we will have our own dance show in Berlin.
And so kind of thinking back to kind of your 16-year-old self just starting dancing now, what do you think that person would think of you now?
I think my 16 years old version would have never expected me to be her now. Like, yeah, she would be proud for sure. And I'm also very proud of my 16 years old version, because she really did not give up. And it was tough because everyone told me, yeah, it's too late. You don't have the classical background. You don't have the stretch. You don't have the turnout and. And I didn't, like back in the days, for sure. But I decided to not let anyone talk me down and just go for it. And I think this is the best drive you can have. Just keep pushing yourself. You're the best cheerleader for yourself. You don't need anyone else. And it was never like this, I swear. Like, it was always like that. I had phases where I was like, I'm gonna quit dance. I hate dance. I don't want to dance anymore. Why did I do this? I wish I would have studied finished my studies, and then because I studied journalism. But all these ups and downs create you, the personality, and the fact of not giving up and keep going. There's going to be the moment where you're like, yes. All the sacrifice was worth it. And to anyone else listening, watching that, keep going.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
So fun.
Thank you.
Boom!
Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, please share it. If you want to see more of these, click subscribe. And if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, just drop them in the comments below. See you in the next session.